Welcome to the June edition of OSU Extension Monthly. June is Dairy Month, and Dairy Month is the month that we focus on the benefits of dairy products. The most advantageous dairy product that we can all utilize is whole milk, or skim milk, or 2% milk, whatever you would like to do because of the fat content. But milk is a powerhouse of nutrients. It's one of those that has all of the complete amino acids that our bodies need. And so it's very important that we get our milk consumption in a day's time. I know that a lot of us now, it's hot and we want something that's cold and refreshing, so we think about getting pop or juices or Gatorade and things like that. And while there's nothing wrong with drinking a little of all of those things I just mentioned, we also need to make sure that we as adults and our children are getting their servings of milk a day that they need. Most children need 3 cups of milk a day to get the nutrients that their bodies need. One of the things that milk has in it is it's been fortified with vitamin D. Now, we get vitamin D from the sunshine, so truthfully, getting vitamin D from milk is not that important if your children are outdoor playing and what have you, or going to the swimming pool this summer. But if you are one of those people that like to be indoors more than outdoors, you may not be getting enough sunshine to get the vitamin D that your body needs. So drinking milk is one of the ways that you can get that vitamin D. And it's so important in our energy production in our body and our ability to function. We're going to focus a little bit today on cheese and making homemade cheese. I don't know how many out there in TV land has watched or has made homemade cheese, but it's a fairly simple process. And one of the benefits of making cheese is that you can control what you put in it. Cheese doesn't take very many ingredients to make. It is a complex food. It's made from 4 usually ingredients. Cheese makers have developed thousands of varieties of cheeses around the world, and each of them have a unique taste, a unique texture, as well as a unique nutritional profile. No 2 cheeses are the same. There's a lot of standards for the quality of cheese, and there's a lot of adjustments that can be made to a basic recipe. Natural cheese, as I said, is made from 4 basic ingredients. Those ingredients are milk, salt, a bacteria or culture that's like yogurt, things like that, and then an enzyme. And that enzyme is called rennet. Now, many of you may know of rennet as a trade name of junket. Junket, you can make cheese with it. It certainly can. It's not as high quality as the liquid rennet that you may find like in a health food store or someplace like that. Okay. Salt acts as the natural preservative, but it's needed to finish the transformation of the liquid milk into a cheese that you will enjoy. The nutrients found in cheese, there's calcium, protein, phosphorus, because the main ingredient of cheese, of course, is milk. I'm working on a cheese recipe here. This is going to be a homemade farmer's cheese. I've been cooking my milk for a little bit before the show started. What you need is a stainless steel pot, which you see that I have here. You need a spoon that not that plastic or stainless steel. Aluminum will never work with your cheese making, so make sure that you don't try to use an aluminum pan or an aluminum stirring spoon. It reacts with the rennet and will ruin your cheese product. I'm cooking this. You need a thermometer. This thermometer has my milk at 180 right now. I need it to go to 195. You may have noticed that I am constantly stirring this milk because as you heat milk, if you get it too hot and you're not stirring it, it may scorch on the bottom. I don't know about you, but scorched cheese just doesn't float my boat today. Okay, so processed cheese, that's the things like Velveeta and those types of things, they are also made from milk and milk products, and it's very high quality nutrients. It sometimes can have more calcium in it, more vitamin D, processed food cheeses can, because they are added to the product as it is processed. What happens when we make processed cheese is that the aging process is halted. It doesn't continue to age. For some people, that's very important. We'll talk about that a little bit, hopefully before the program's over. Okay, I am getting close to 190. What I have in here in my pan is 1 gallon of whole milk, and you must use whole milk for this particular recipe of farmer's cheese that we are making. It is milk that I bought at the supermarket, so it has been homogenized. That does not have a problem with the milk. But if you like to buy the ultra pasteurized milk, it will not work for your cheese making. So you want to make sure that you don't try to use ultra pasteurized milk. You can use milk fresh from a cow, and truthfully, the fresher your milk, probably the better quality that you will have with your cheese. But of course, if you don't have a cow to milk, or somebody that you know that milks cows, that may not be available. So obviously you can use the milk that you can purchase at the store. As I said, this particular recipe calls for 1 gallon of whole milk. It takes about 10 pounds of milk to make 1 pound of cheese. That's probably why cheese is a little pricey sometimes to buy. I'm checking my thermometer here. We're getting close to where we need to be, just a little bit longer. Cheese, of course, is the #2 source of calcium in America, milk being #1. It also provides a high quality protein that we need. Our bodies need protein to grow. Our bodies need protein to repair ourselves, and so cheese is a good source of protein. For those who are on a vegan diet, will not and do not eat meat, certainly can eat cheeses, because that's where they can get their protein from. If you're going to be looking to lower the sodium in your diet, there's a tip, is to choose a cheese based on its firmness, how firm it is, and its age. So softer, less aged cheeses require less salt. So if sodium is a problem in your diet and you need to be watching that, then you want to choose those cheeses that are softer and that have not been aged. Okay, we are getting extremely close to where we need to be here. About 5 more degrees. And as I said, we're cooking this to 195 degrees Fahrenheit. It's important that we do not scorch or burn our milk. So I keep stirring it. Okay, what I'm going to add to this milk today is 1/4 cup of cider vinegar. This will be a cheese that is made with an acid base rather than an enzyme-based product. Okay. Cheese has been around for centuries. The first cheeses were listed in the Bible, and the Asian people, I've lost my my thermometer in the milk. It has to be, I feel it, but I can't get it back up. There we go. Yeah, put it right there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to get down really close and see we're almost there. Cheese making was common in the Roman Empire and the rest of Europe, but cheese was brought to Europe from the Asian nation. Also, it came over on the Mayflower at Plymouth Rock when they came in 1620. So once they got into our New World here in America, they began to process and make lots of cheese. So cheese is a really age-old food product that's been around. The lore says that the very first cheese was done by a traveling man who had a pouch in his that he was carrying that was made from an animal's stomach. And from that pouch there was some rennet in the lining, and because it was hot and the sun was hot and he was traveling, when he got to where he was going that night, the cheese had formed and separated from the whey, that is the leftover milk from cheese making. And so he had whey to drink that night, which was very tasty and quenched his thirst, and he had cheese. And so they learned from that it was possible to make cheese, and that rennet was one of the enzymes that we really need to make cheese with. Okay, just a tad bit more I think here. Cheese making is an art, and its roots go way back, like I said, to biblical times. It is sustainable, and it truly is a fast food. When we talk about foods that we can go and purchase from our fast food places, cheese can be a fast food. It can be used for a lot of things. I think one of the problems with cheese is that we as Americans really like it a lot, and we probably consume more than what we actually need to consume, and that can be problematic because we can get too much protein into our diet. We are just about there. As a matter of fact, I am going to go ahead and pull this off of my burner. I'll make sure I turn that off for safety purposes. Okay, going to say, as I said, put 1/4 cup of vinegar in here. But before I do that, I'm going to take cheesecloth. You find cheesecloth in the sewing department at stores like Walmart or wherever. And cheesecloth is what helps you drain and your whey from separating from your curd. So we're going to put 1/4 of a cup. Now 1/4 a cup is not very much. So, okay. When I pour this in here, the milk should separate into a white solid. At this point, you want to only stir with an up and down motion. We're going to let it stand for about 10 minutes. You can find recipes for homemade farmer's cheese or homemade fresh cheese, queso blanca or queso fresco. You can find recipes online for how to make homemade mozzarella cheese. You can make mozzarella cheese in as little as 30 minutes. And it really is, has a very mild flavor. It's very good. It's something that you can truly do enjoy. If you need to lower sodium in your diet, there's certain types of cheeses that you may want to try to eat as opposed to other types of cheeses. One of those is the Swiss cheese. Monterey Jack, ricotta, or Parmesan. Of course, a serving of that is 1 tablespoon. We always, as I said a little bit earlier, eat way too much cheese. 1.5 ounces of natural cheese or 2 ounces of processed cheese is considered a serving of cheese. So 4 dice-sized cubes could be the reminder of the size of a serving of cheese. So we're looking at, a little spot about like that. Well, I don't know about you. I can eat probably 3 or 4 times that amount. But you need to understand that the small amount is a serving, and the more you eat, the more calories you get, the more salt you get. If you're watching your weight and your fat that are in your diet, you want to eat Parmesan cheese, Romano cheese, part skim mozzarella cheese. But you can also try things like cottage cheese, ricotta, cheddar, Swiss, Colby, provolone, and Mexican blend of processed cheeses. If you need more calcium in your diet, which I do, we have to look for Swiss cheese, cottage, ricotta, mozzarella, Monterey Jack, cheddar, Gouda, Colby, provolone, and some blend of Munster cheese. Munster cheese is one of my favorites. I really like it. And then a good sharp cheddar cheese. I really, really do like that. Cheese can fit into your eating plan. Again, just remember what a serving is and why you shouldn't have 5 and 6 services. There are more than 300 different classes of cheeses in the United States and 2,000 in the world. That's a lot of cheese, people. But they're all classified into 8 categories. All cheeses are classified into 8 categories. The first category is the blue cheese. It's a characteristic variety that develops blue or green streaks. They're harmless, but they are very flavor-producing mold. So when you eat blue cheese, you are actually eating mold, but it will not bother you. It is okay. Vining gives that cheese some that really good flavor. And a lot of people like blue cheese. I'm not a fan of it, but there's other things I can't eat. Another category is hard cheeses. These are cheeses that have been well aged. They're easily grated and primarily used for cooking. So those are things like Parmesan, Romano, those types of maybe what we consider Italian type cheeses. Then we have the processed cheese, of course. That is a blend of fresh and naturally aged cheeses. And it's been shredded, it's been mixed and heated with some emulsor added into it with some salt. And then once they've added the salt, the cheese doesn't ripen anymore. So these things like your Velveeta or processed cheese, that is one of the 8 categories. Another one is semi-hard. And that one is things like your Colby, your cheddar, your Gouda. Semi-soft, those are made with whole milk, and they're ones that will melt easily. And those are things like your Monterey Jack and brick cheese or Munster cheese. Soft and fresh is also a category. It has high moisture content. And it's typically made with the addition of a lactic acid culture. And these are things like cream cheese, cottage cheese, your queso blanca cheese, etc. Citric acid can be purchased in a container like this in the canning goods section of your stores. And it is perfectly acceptable to use this citric acid when you are making your cheese. Okay. Another one is the soft ripened cheese, and those are your brie and Camembert cheeses. They all have a different flavor. And then of course your curds. And a lot of times people really do like their curd. We may run out of time before my milk actually makes cheese curds over here today, and but it is cooling down and beginning to form a skim on the top and looking like it's going to make some cheese. But since it may not do that totally, I wanted to point out that you could also use goat milk to make cheese with. You will have a really potent type flavor to it. Some people really like goat cheese, others not so much. But you can also buy your goat's milk and utilize that as well. When you make your cheese, this is some ricotta that I made. You will notice, I think, hopefully you can see this, but there's still some whey. That's the liquid that separates from the curd. It is a really flavorful thing, and you can use it. A lot of people discard it, but it can be used in baking and cooking. It also can be drank as a milk. So it's just up to your taste buds whether you like it or not. So this ricotta, this is pretty much what I'm making in this pan here. I made this ahead of time. Ricotta is one of those cheeses that I really enjoy using when I make lasagna. It really does provide that texture that I'm looking for in my lasagna. This cheese right here is a Fresca type, Casablanca, Fresca, not queso, that's house. Queso Fresco cheese. It's made similar to what I've been doing here today. It does crumble, this one. Same recipe. What happens with that one is I'm not letting it sit and age as much. This one I did. And so then you can put it in a little bowl and form a shape or whatever. This is some more of it. As you can see, I haven't gotten all of the whey out of it. So I could probably set this in my liner here. This is a colander bowl, setting inside of a large bowl with the cheesecloth on it, and let it sit there for a longer period of time and let that whey separate from it. But really the reason I don't wait that long is because I don't want it to be a harder type cheese. I want it to be a softer type cheese. And whenever I leave some of the whey in it, then it has more moisture to it, which makes it more palatable to me to eat. Some people like it the other way. So the other thing I have here on my table today is what we call our designer milks. You may know them as silk milk or almond milk, coconut milk, cashew milk, all of the different milks that are out there. I happen to be very allergic to the protein in cow's milk, so I do not drink cow's milk, but I can use the designer milks because they are not necessarily have cow's milk in them or the protein in them. This particular quote milk, designer milk, has almond milk, which is filtered water with some almonds in it, cane sugar, sea salt, locust bean gum, and sunflower lecithin gelatin gum. So 1 cup of this provides me with 60 calories. 1 cup of your vitamin D milk will provide you with 70 calories. So yes, you can drink this and get fewer calories in your system. This one also, though, has 160 milligrams of sodium. So not a really good choice whenever you're looking at lowering your sodium amount. Whole milk will have 120 milligrams. So they both have salt in them. Your whole milk or even your 2% or other milk will have a lower sodium content for you. So depending on what your needs are, your dietary needs are, you can select which might be best for you. As I said, I'm allergic to milk, so I do utilize the designer milks. I really do like the almond and the cashew milk. Coconut milk is a little bit too sweet for me, but it is the milk off of a coconut, and it's very healthy for us, as is our almond milk here. This one has some fiber in it, some protein in it. I was going to say, I don't believe you'll have as much protein. Yes, this one will only have 1 gram of protein, where your vitamin D milk will have 8 grams of protein. So if you are a vegan and not eating your meats and rely on plant products for your nutritional need, and you're trying to choose a milk, you would be better to go with the cow's milk. And I realize that some people say that's too close to the meat product, because milk does come from cows. You don't just go to the store and buy it. There are farmers and ranchers who get up very early in the morning and milk their cows so that we can have fresh milk on our shelves in the grocery store. I'm kind of looking at my cheese here. And we're not cooling down as fast as I had hoped. But anyway, if you would be interested in learning more about cheese making and maybe having a workshop, I'd be more than willing to provide that and help you learn how to make homemade cheeses. If you would be interested in that, you can contact the Texas County OSU Extension Office at 301 North Main or 580-338-7300, and we'll put your name on a list, and if I get enough to justify doing the class, I'd be more than happy to help you learn how to make your own fresh cheeses, even, not just a cheese, but cheeses. And so if that's something you would be interested in, just make contact with our office and I will set up a class for later in the summer. So, okay, there's lots of things coming up in the OSU Extension Office. Hopefully in the next few months we're going to be fully staffed, which is exciting to me. I look forward to having some new people, some new blood in our organization here in Texas County, and I certainly do appreciate our county commissioners who has made that possible, especially in this time of low budget concerns and issues. I really appreciate their efforts in stepping up and providing the funding that we will need. So hopefully in the future, I won't be the only one here doing this TV show. Until next time, thank you for being here and enjoy all of your cheeses.